There we go. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I know not too many people come to the office hours, but I hope some of you are here, and I'm here to answer some of the questions we got this week. The graders have been answering some back. I've been answering some back. I didn't realize there was a forum in there, so people have been sending questions there. Remember, send it to the BADM320questions at Gmail address, and that you'll get an answer quicker. Because as anyone that has tried to use a mobile phone with Compass knows, that is impossible to get that little menu to pop over. So just send me an email or send it to the BADM320questions at gmail.com for that, and we'll get back to you. So that is good. Hey, Redemption Films, good to see you. Anyway, so I want to go through some of the questions that were sent to us this week, clear a few things up. I'm still getting a lot of emails from people saying, hey, Quiz 1, how did I get anything wrong? You didn't. Don't worry. Quiz 1, Compass was grading the things wrong, whereas we had the survey questions. They were marking them all wrong. So don't worry. Everybody's going to get 25 out of 25 on the first quiz, okay? So don't worry about that. Yes? Sure. My 9-year-old wanted fruit roll-ups, so what can I do? You can't use the internet when I'm doing this, so I have to bribe him somehow. Anyway, yeah, so review for quiz 1. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Hey, Kareem. Good to see you, buddy. So what we're going to be doing is everyone's going to get 25 out of 25 on the first quiz. Now, the syllabus quiz, you still have time to do that. Okay, so that's going to, you can still fill that out until September 15th because there's still students that are signing for classes. I just got an email from a student about 5 minutes ago that said they just got into the class. So obviously there's still some time for you to do the syllabus quiz. Don't forget this week, quiz 2 is due by noon on Friday. Okay, so, and the best part is I'm getting emails like, when are the quizzes due? I'm like, I don't know how many more times I can tell you. All quizzes are going to be due, like the weekly quizzes, 1 through 11 will be due at noon on a Friday. Okay, and for those who are wondering, when do the quizzes open up? They will open up, hey Ruby, good to see you. They will open up they're supposed to open up around 7 on Monday, but I would say, look, Monday afternoon to see if they're actually up, okay? Because Compass, if you haven't noticed already, Compass hates me, and it just the way it is, I guess. So we have some issues there, but we'll make sure it's okay. That's why if there's issues with grading or stuff like that, we'll come back around to it. That's why we have all the extra credit you can do, which another person asked about the SONA experiments. The reason why, if you're looking at the SONA experiments for other classes, you don't see 320 in there yet, is because since we have so many students that are still joining the class, when I send the student list to them, they only take that initial student list. So all those students that will join later, they don't get in there, and it causes a really big problem. And we had issues before. So since people can join the class through this week, I will send the new list to them on Monday. So next week it should populate, and you'll be able to go and do those assignments or those extra credit quizzes, not quizzes, but the extra credit SONA experiments. I mean, all you're going to do is they're going to send you stuff you answered online. You can do that. And remember, every single one you do adds 0.5% onto your final grade. And you can do 6, so that will get you 3% added on your final grade. And if you don't want to do the SONA experiments, one of the things I like to do is offer students, I call it the Save the World Project, where you do a marketing plan and kind of review basically what we do in the first exam. You're going to do that for a nonprofit organization, maybe in your hometown, maybe you work at one, or you help out someplace. You could do it for them, because I think us as a university, we can help out local businesses and local nonprofits by using the business knowledge that our students have. So we can go back and give back. So there's another way. And if you do that, you automatically get 3%. Okay, because you're doing something to help out people, and that is in the book, in the syllabus. In terms of the book, this is the only book. I know in there it says for additional readings, go to Levy McGraw-Hill book. No. That is like, if you really want to be crazy and you want to go read a marketing book, that's a textbook that I like. This is the only book you need. Okay, remember pigs on the cover. It looks like your professor. Look, I'm all pink and round, and they're pink and round. So should be okay. So this is the book you need to get. Now, for those of you that need to get the book, you go to bookstore.illinois.edu. Some students have said they're backlogged or they don't have any, which isn't true. We've talked to people, they have like 500 copies there, so you should be okay. I don't know what the issue is. But I have talked to the publisher, and they're going to set it up so you can buy the book from the publisher directly, and they ship like the same day or the next day, but they only can ship domestically. So for my international students, you're still, only way you get the book is through the bookstore.illinois.edu, but I will send out an email with the Stives publishing page because they're going to put that out for me tomorrow, and so I can send that so you can get the book quicker, and you don't have to worry about any of those issues. So there should be some stuff there. Next up, there is no e-text. Working with a publisher, we might have one for next semester, but we do not have one for this semester, so I'm sorry about that. A lot of people were writing if they need to do the McGraw-Hill Connect for the quizzes. No, all the quizzes and the exams, at least this semester, will be run through Compass. So you'll just go on Compass. Every quiz you do, quiz 2 will be with lesson module 2. You'll go in there and there'll be a link, or it'll be on the it'll be on the main page, the home page of the class, and you just go there, click on it, and do it. So we have those things there. For those of you that want to review, what questions did I miss? So I clicked the button that said after the day that the quiz is due, after that time. Then if you missed any, it will send back what your answer was and what the answer should have been. So, so you can see what you missed, because I can't really do that beforehand because you could copy it and tell your friends and they get those questions already. So that's why you don't get them right away, okay? You might not even get your grades until after the Friday ones in the future. It just depends how the Compass system works with those things. What else? For those of you that can't watch the videos, because some of you have had some trouble with Compass, just go to professorwolters.com and click on Principles of Marketing, and the topics are right there. You just click on the topic. Topic 2 would be Module 2, right? Lesson 2. Click on there. The videos are in order. You can click there. And for those of you asking, why doesn't the 2x speed button work on Compass? Well, it works on my website, so you can go to my website and watch them there, and then double time it, so I can talk even faster like this when I do the class, and be like, oh, that's even faster. Do it. I'll know everything really quickly, so you can have it that fast. Okay, so we do have those things. So those were the questions that we had this week. So the topic this week was strategic marketing. This is one of my favorite things. I actually worked as a strategic marketing and strategic branding consultant for a number of years. It is a fun thing to do. If you're ever looking at marketing or management or anything, this is a really great field. And there's some models that we talk about. They're basic models, but they're very powerful models. And what I want to go over today is the SWOT analysis. And when you look at a SWOT analysis, I mean, basically you're taking a snapshot. Like, it's a picture of just today. Where does the company stand today in what they're doing well, what they're doing poorly, what the opportunities out there? Because here's the thing. Whenever you talk to a company, you talk to anybody, it's like, oh, Mark, you're fat. I'll be like, oh, but I'm going to lose weight. Yeah, no, but right now you're fat, right? Like, we're looking right now. Because a lot of companies say, oh, we're gonna fix our website. It's getting fixed. It's not fixed now. And that's what you have to do. Like, no, we're looking right now. We're not, you may say, oh, we're going to do this in the future. You know what? A pandemic happened and things don't happen. So you got to make sure, like, look, this is where we are today. Okay. And what you do is you look at the strengths and weaknesses. Okay. And that's things that are inside the company, things that they can control. Right. And so you have that, but also you look outside the company. What are the opportunities that they could take advantage of? And what are the threats they have to worry about? Okay. And sometimes you're coming up with things that aren't really realistic. Sometimes, who would have thought last year, oh, a threat. Yeah, a global pandemic, and, we won't get to have classes, and no one will travel anymore. Oh, that's silly. But you know what? You plan for these things just in case. That's why the University of Illinois had their insurance policy just in case something like this happens. That's a threat, and they came up with a plan to be ready for that threat just in case. Okay? And so what I want to do today, or tonight, or this morning, or wherever you are, middle of the morning, maybe it's 3 a.m., sorry, my friends in the 3 a.m. places. But I want to kind of go through a SWOT analysis for McDonald's. Okay, so McDonald's, if we think of some strengths, please put comments up if you're watching, you want to add to the conversation some of the strengths of McDonald's. Okay, who's ready? Oh, sorry, this other thing going. Okay, so if we look at it, think about it. McDonald's. What's a good thing McDonald's does? Anybody? Help me out here. I know there's a little delay. It's like a minute from when I say it to when you type it because of how live feeds do. But think about it. Like, why do you go there? What's some of the stuff you love about it? Usually, if we think back to when we were kids, right? the Happy Meal, right? Oh, we get the toy, right? You're like, oh, I got the toy. And your parents like, no, you got to eat your French fries first. Then you get to play with the toy, which, yeah, whatever. It gets your kids to eat. Who cares, right? And so we think of that. It's like, oh, the Happy Meal, that's a strength, right? Okay. Drive-through. Yeah, thanks, Riley. They got the drive-through. And what gets me is when you travel around the world, they call it the McDrive, which I think is way better than drive-through, right? So, okay, fast service. Thanks, Ellen. What else we have? Cheap food. Yeah. Thanks, Ariel. So we have that. Yeah, so let's see, what's some other stuff? Let's see. Some of the food. What, like, for me, I mean, let's be honest. I have to think that McDonald's French fries, they got something special about them because everybody in the world seems to love McDonald's French fries. They're like next level. Like Wendy's, I'm sorry, Wendy's got some great burgers, but dude, their fries are not good. But McDonald's, their fries are excellent, right? So I look at the fries. I like the fries. That's nice. Ruby, yeah, standardized. That's a great one, Ruby. Standard quality. I mean, here's the thing I always laugh at. I travel a little bit, and I'll see McDonald's all around the world, and you know, I'll travel with my parents sometimes. And my dad, I mean, he's getting up there, and I know that he can travel the world. The guy worked in Mexico and Korea for decades, but now he's a little bit older, and he's like, you know, he'll eat local food for about 5 or 6 days, and then he's like, I want a cheeseburger. You know? And so I'm like, I gotta find a place that's gonna be a standard that he'll know. So we'll go to either an Irish pub, because they're all over the world, or McDonald's, which is all over the world, because he knows what it's gonna get. And that standard quality that you have everywhere you go, you know what you're gonna get. You can bank on that. That's why the exchange students that come here to Illinois, guess what? They go to eat McDonald's because it reminds them of home back in Italy, or reminds them back home in China, or wherever, because the standardization. So that's a really good one, Ruby. That's actually one they've done very well with. Yeah, variety. Thanks, Solar. Let's see. Variety. Catch your tank. Convenience. Yeah. Lots of locations. Yep. Location. Convenience. Let's see. Ariel. The chicken nugget. Yes, the nuggies. You can't go wrong with the nuggets. Oh, did you hear? Next month, or later this month, they're coming out with spicy chicken McNuggets. I don't know. Is that going to be a game changer? Let me know. Nuggets. So we have this. So these are some good strengths. Some good strengths that are out there. But what are some weaknesses of McDonald's? What are some stuff that aren't so good about it? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's super healthy, I guess. Yeah, weakness. Not so healthy. But my thing is if you're eating healthy, are you going to go to McDonald's? Probably not. So it's okay. But it's a weakness. And here's the thing. What you need to know is sometimes for some people it might seem like a strength, but for other people it might be a weakness. I know when I worked in Lithuania, I mean, going to McDonald's was expensive. Like one menu meal, like a Big Mac and fries and a drink at McDonald's would pay for a family of 4 to have dinner at a restaurant. I mean, it was just such a thing. Yeah, health concerns. Thanks, Riley. Now, how many of you, if I say McDonald's is fast and you think to the Green Street location, is it really fast? Sometimes it's fast, but then sometimes you want to just smack people because you're like, McDonald's has had the same menu for decades and it's still taking you 10 minutes to decide what you want to order. Can I just go around you? That's why they looked at those kiosks. Sometimes it can be slow service. And this is actually going to be a good example of where we see a weakness. Yeah, because some people go, oh, it's fast, but something goes slow more inside. What did McDonald's do to help get people around that line? They started having those kiosks. You can do it on the app. You can do it there and you just walk up and pick it up. Yeah, Jimmy John's kind of beat there, yes. Yes, they do. Freaky fast delivery, right? I mean, they're in and out. It's nice. But what are some other weaknesses? Let's see. Well, the delivery, right now, one of the things is the delivery, I mean, yes, you can go with Grubhub for it, but how does McDonald's taste when it gets to your house 15 minutes after it was made? Not good transport. That's one thing I think about it. Let's see. Yeah, the freshness of it. Yeah, Ariel. So what are some other weaknesses? Come on. Let's see. How about when you go in? I mean, there's a McDonald's here in Champaign that I don't go to because it's like nasty inside. And a couple times I've gone there, it was like the clients and the people working behind the desk were like almost getting into a fight. They were yelling at each other. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I had to take my kid out of the store. I mean, it was a very uncomfortable situation. So sometimes you might say it's, not clean. I mean, do you want, I was in the kids were going into the play pit thing in the play area. And I'm like, please God, let that be ketchup. Please God, let that be ketchup in there. Oh my gosh, it was gross. And so you're looking at that like, okay, maybe not super clean. But here's the thing that's crazy. When we go traveling around the world, my mom, who for some reason cannot go to the bathroom for months at a time, it seems like, but when she travels, she has to go like every 15 minutes. She'll use McDonald's all over because when you travel, McDonald's actually has really clean bathrooms. And so we started to see, it's like, wait, this not clean thing was a weakness we have. What can we change in the future? Maybe we can make it a strength and make sure we have it where people are checking the bathroom every hour. That's why you have that little sheet there. Okay. Now let's look at some opportunities. Some opportunities are things that are out there that maybe, you can't control, but there's something we could do. Because let's think about it. I mean, how many of you got excited when you were a little kid? Remember when you were a little kid and Hello Kitty was there or Ben 10 was there and you're like, oh, Ben 10! Oh, Hello Kitty! You got all excited. So there's opportunities, maybe, movie tie-ins, opportunity for like the Impossible Whopper, right? You have the Impossible Mac, what are other opportunities they could have? Let's think. Anybody got some other opportunities they could work on? I mean, what if so if we start to see that, yeah, people aren't going out to restaurants anymore and our delivery is getting a little slow. I mean, I guess an opportunity we could do is maybe we look at, mobile, right? Mobile stations or we could be like Starbucks and like McCafe, they package their coffee and they can sell that. So like they can have prepackaged stuff. So if you go, you can get your your bag of McCafe coffee at the store. Well, you know what? Maybe you can get your bag of. Hold on. Maybe you can get your bag of. I have a lot more respect for the weather people now with all this stuff. But you look at it, so you look at it and say, hey, if you go to the frozen food section, can't you get P.F. Chang stuff? And you can get White Castle sliders, right? I don't remember, but you can get them. You can look at vegan options. Yeah, vegan stuff. That could be something for us to look at. Yeah. Modernization. Yeah. Like keep up with trends. There's an opportunity to see what's out there. But let's think of some threats. Like one thing you look at, what are some threats that McDonald's has to face? Well, it could be, there's been talk of having legislation against fattier food because of healthy issues. So you've got legislation. You have changing tastes, right? Because when I was a kid, McDonald's was the place you wanted to have your birthday because that was like the cool place. And now I don't know really any kids. It's like, yeah, let's go to McDonald's. My kids are like, dude, let's hit up Culver's because Culver's is the best. Just letting you know. But, we have to think about these things. Ooh, seasonal shakes. Yeah, there's an opportunity. Good one. Come on. I saw Dunkin' Donuts has the pumpkin spice back. So just be ready for pumpkin spice everything for the next month or two. So we look at that, yeah. Now, some other threats. Legislation, changing tastes, the pandemic. Who's right? I have no friends, so I have no idea who would be writing me. Oh. They're working on some stuff for us for the book. So that should be out. There should be a site up tomorrow for us so you can order the book online. Other threats we have to look at. Well, there's also the competition. Now you have Taco Bell is out there with their own breakfast stuff. McDonald's kind of own breakfast. I will go get myself a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit from McDonald's No problem. Those things are amazing. I love them. But now they have more competition. Taco Bell's doing breakfast. Other people looking to do. Wendy's started having breakfast. They got a Baconator breakfast sandwich. I'm too scared to try it right now because that's a lot of grease early in the morning. So, ooh, the McRib. Oh, Michael, come on. Oh, Michael, look online for like the history of the McRib. I think it's by Company Man on YouTube. Yeah, like the process, how they made it. You're gonna have like 3 more of those throw up things next to it. But dang it sure tastes good. I remember when I was a kid, I loved that. Anyway, so with the SWOT analysis, what you're gonna do is, yes, Sarah, I think we are having more health conscious. There are more health conscious things out there, so that could be health conscious options. Yeah, so there is that. Yeah, and I think I would put the health conscious as the changing taste. Maybe we can go in there. But the thing is, when you do a SWOT analysis, what I'm doing is just listing things. That is not all you do. This is the biggest thing that drives me crazy when I work with clients, and they're like, oh, well, we did our SWOT analysis. I'm like, okay, and what's your strategy to improve all those strengths? How do you strengthen every strength? What's your plan to improve the weaknesses? What's your plan to take advantage of those opportunities? What's your plan to be ready for those threats? Because what happens if you just list everything out, then it's just like, somebody complaining, right? And so we as business people have to look at it and say, look, Happy Meal. Okay, it's going well. Kids love it. How can we make it better? Well, let's make sure when Frozen 3 comes out, we have Elsa and Anna and Olaf, stuff in there because we know it's going to be a big hit. So we want to make sure we're checking that out. Let's make it stronger. Because, I think about it. McDonald's actually did really well with their Happy Meals over the years because when I was a kid, you were lucky if the toy survived until the end of you eating. Because it was pretty flimsy stuff and it would fall apart. So most of the time it got thrown away, but you at least had the toy for a little bit. But my kids, my oldest is 14, and I remember when he was 2, we went to McDonald's, and I don't know if any of you ever watched the old Batman cartoon, Batman Brave and the Bold, and they had all these toys in the thing. And so Caleb, he wouldn't call it McDonald's. He didn't know it was McDonald's. He'd say it was, let's go to the clown place, because they had a Ronald McDonald outside he could sit on his lap and all that stuff. And we'd go, and he got this Aquaman in there. Now, that's 12 years ago he got that. Okay, so he was 2, then moved to Portugal. We were living in Portugal. My wife was in the hospital for months, and it was really bad stuff. It's all okay. We're fine. Baby came out really well. The youngest one, some stuff there. And I remember Caleb's taking a bath, and he's got his little Aquaman. Had this little arm figures like this. This is like 2 years later. He's 4 now, but he still kept it because it was such a good sculpt. It didn't fall apart. It was like a real toy. And so he's sitting there playing with it, and I still remember he looks at me and goes, Daddy? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can we go to McDonald's? I'm like, sure. And I'm like, hey, 2 years later, this Aquaman is still advertising McDonald's for them. And that's why, hey, let's make that string strong. Let's get better molds for the toys. Let's get better toys out there. That's why when you go to Wendy's, they give you a transformer, which is like some paper and some plastic. It's not a real toy. And so you start to see is, hey, how do we make that stronger, right? And they did, and it's done well. Now, the drive-through, how can we make that faster? How can we make that better? How many of you enjoy the double line? When they came up with the double line, I'm like, oh, I'm still going to get stuck behind the slow person, but at least I'm only stuck behind one person that's slow instead of 2 people. So they did that to try to improve it. Also, in terms of improving the faster service and eliminating errors, one of their weaknesses. That's why they have the screen up there. They put the screen to improve that. So we kind of go through these things and figure out how do we improve this? How do we make these things happen? So if you look on a business sense, the standardization, it's not just a standardization of the food, it's the standardization of the processes of actually, making this stuff. So you go to Hamburger U and people learn how to do all these things. So Sam has a question. Hey, Mark. Hey, Sam. Did McCafe work for McDonald's? I feel like the European ones are quite nice. I wonder, though, if it makes them money. That is true. When you go to Europe, the McCafes are like a legit thing on their own. I think they're probably doing pretty well that way. I have to look it up. But in the U.S., they just haven't had the dedicated space. Because you go to McDonald's in Europe, a lot of times there's McDonald's. You walk in, there's McDonald's, but on the side, there's McCafe with like fancier chairs and here's some buns you might want to have with your tea or coffee. Yes, indeed. You just feel fancier sitting there, right? And so in that respect, it really helped, I think, McDonald's kind of image in Europe. In the US, though, you'll see the McCafe thing is just another wall on the menu or another panel on the menu. So it's kind of tough. So Ariel asks, does anyone actually use the order ahead option for drive-thrus? Yes, they do. The places like Panera, I think, get better business with that, and Starbucks than McDonald's, but it does happen. The McDonald's by me actually has 6 bays lined up. So you just come in, you say, Mark is here in bay 6, and they bring it out. So there are some that's out there. Now, weaknesses, obviously, when there's weaknesses, let's think of a strategy to improve it. So, not so healthy. Well, is McDonald's not so healthy, or is it the perception that McDonald's is not so healthy? I mean, they came out with those egg white omelets, and the low-fat cheese, and they have the salads, they got other things for you. And so you're looking at it, it's like, and then, now the quarter pounders are going to be fresh beef or something like that going forward. So they're trying to do some things, but in the end, you have to think about it in terms of, are people that are super health conscious going to be coming to McDonald's for healthy food? We have to decide what we're going to have. I mean, as the Impossible Whopper has shown, I mean, the sales are good now. They've come back down. Like, look, if I want a Whopper, I'm probably going to need a Whopper. I mean, it's not like the Impossible Burger is healthier. It's just a perception that, it's plant-based meat instead of animal-based meat. So there is those things you have to think about when you're doing this. Now, other things. Not clean. That's why you started seeing them putting the check marks up to make sure it's there. But the thing is, if it's just a piece of paper where it signs Mark was here, did they actually clean it? So we have to think about that, right? Now, Sam, my small town just got a Starbucks. Nice. Cary Island, you've been? I have been to Cary. Yeah, beautiful over there. Next door to McDonald's. So why it popped in my head. Yeah. So, excuse me. It's funny. Starbucks was not worried at all about any really competition until McDonald's said, "Hey, we're going to do these McCafe things." Because all of a sudden you have, instead of having, because think about if you start out a chain, you start with one store and it takes you time to go to the second, third, fourth. So it takes time to grow. But all of a sudden, McDonald's says, "We're going to put these McCafes everywhere," and they have already got thousands and thousands of locations. All of a sudden, you have a huge competitor like that. So it is kind of interesting. So opportunities. What could we do to take advantage of those? Maybe we talk with Marvel or now DC, because DC started to announce more movies. We might look at that. The prepackaged food. Let's think about what foods could work. Because I remember, years ago, like you couldn't buy the McCafe coffee at the store. And now you can. And you go to Germany, you can buy the McDonald's ketchup. It's not Heinz, it's McDonald's ketchup. And so you can buy that. And how far does it go? Because think about TGI Fridays. I think it's closed forever here in Champaign. But if I want to get my TGI Friday potato skits or my TGI Fridays, wings, I can go to my local county market and get the frozen versions of it. So we start to see is like, how's that going to work? What food could work? Because some things you can do freeze it and it'll work, and some don't work so well. So we have to think about that. Let's see. Now, the threats, this is the one that's really problematic. Like, this is one of those things for a long time. If you look at small businesses, the pandemic, which has destroyed businesses all around the world, it has forced businesses to start really put effort into their online sales and online platforms. Whereas for years, they didn't. You had the threat, Amazon and all is going to take all of our business. I'm like, well, why don't you develop a better online platform? If you would have done that years ago, if this, when the pandemic came, hey, you're already ready that people could easily switch from the in-store to the online. And that's one thing you have to think about. So you're planning all these things out there. And the thing is, when you do a marketing plan, you're going to have this, and you're going to make sure you have a plan for everything out there. Because if you have investors and they see that, you have a weakness of slow surge rates, well, what are you going to do to improve that? Oh, well, it'll be okay. No one's going to be like, it'll be okay. I need you to show me that plan. Don't tell me it's going to be okay. Show me the plan that's going to make it not slow. Okay? So when we do this is a really powerful tool because it gets people to be honest. And I'll be honest, when I've worked with companies, people do not want to bring up the weaknesses and the threats. They like to talk about all the strengths. Because, do you want to be the one that tells the boss the bad news? Of course not. You're like, everything is great, boss. No, it's fine. And so people get scared because if you're, the old saying, kill the messenger. At work, you don't want to be, they're going to kill the messenger. Maybe I just kind of like, I'll just hide over here and they won't know. But then what we end up doing is, when I work with clients, I tell them, look, you got to be honest. And I will come out and I'll say harsh things right away about their website, social media, whatever. I talked to people at Culver's once, and that was a working thing, but I was talking to them like, What the hell happened in 2017? Like, did you all overexpand so much that you started hiring people that never had Culvers before? Because I love Culvers. Like, Culvers is like, here. I on my desk, I just have some Scoopy tokens and some free stuff. Okay, so I mean, I'm legit Culvers through and through. But 2017, man, service was down. Food wasn't as good. It's like they started popping up all over the place. And I was thinking in a business sense, well, maybe it's because they overexpanded too quickly and they didn't have people that knew how to really make what Culver's is supposed to taste like. And then over time, now it's back. Like, I would say like second half of 2018, they like got back. And it was like, I see. We are like one of our threats is overexpansion. Well, that was a weakness. We overexpanded, and maybe I don't know what the real reason was, but that was the thing. Is now like, hey, we see this issue. We got to do something about it. But of course, does anyone tell their boss, yeah, our burgers aren't as good as they used to be because we don't know what we're doing? That's a one-way ticket to lose your job, right? And so that's why you have to be so honest and be like, look, this has got to be an open forum. We need to really talk about the core issues we have. Not just what we're doing good to make us look good, but what are some real weaknesses out there? What are some real threats we have to think about? Because I've worked with clients before, and they're like, oh, we have no competition. I'm like, really? Let's search your industry in your town and what shows up on Google. There's some competition for you because when people search and that's what they find, boom. So there is that. Let's see. Ariel says, what do you feel a good plan or solution in regards to online sales for a restaurant or fast food business? Okay, so one of the things is if you're looking at delivery, obviously delivery is a big thing, but your website has to be so simple for people to order and order again. You want to have the, hey, order the same thing again, like option. Have them sign up, give them the enticement. Hey, look, like if Pizza Hut, you order enough pizzas, you get a free pizza, you get a free breadsticks or something like that. Jimmy John's has their points, so it's free drink every so often. You got to give them a reason to buy through that. And if you look at the 4 Ps, there's a video I talk about in our series I did in Iceland about the 4 Ps and products, in products with the online space. And you really kind of set it up that way to inspire people to go there. The thing is, though, high quality images, right? Easy ordering, easy specialization. I mean, I love mayonnaise on my burgers. Yes, I'm you understand why I look like this, right? And the thing is, though, when I try to special order something online at a burger, there's not that option. So I'm going to go someplace else. I'll order from Jimmy John's because they can let me have how I want it, right? Especially if you look at Burger King, they should have your way right away. There's like, I want more pickles, I want less pickles, I want triple pickles, whatever. You want to make sure you have those things and have it set up. And then the delivery is another thing. I mean, if you look at, there was a study, where was it from? It was something like, a significant proportion of the delivery drivers were admitting to taking some of the food from the people that were delivering. So your fries might have had more in there before they got to you. Ew, gross, right? And so we have to think about these things. And so that's why companies, think about it, you have bad delivery. Do you blame the delivery driver or do you blame McDonald's or Jimmy John's or somebody that made the sandwich or made the food for you? You blame them. That's why I feel some companies decided, we'll take the delivery kind of charge ourselves because then we can control that. Because one of the threats, what if our drivers steal food? What if the ride share, Uber Eats or whatever? What if one of them takes some of the food or delivers the wrong place? I mean, there's some delivery places that are delivery things here in Champaign I don't use because every time I would call them, like, oh yeah, I can't find this place. I can't find Wolters Hall. I'm like, corner of 6th and Gregory. There's a parking lot. There's the Armory. I can't find. Could you go outside? And I'm like, really? And it was like enough times. I'm like, if they had this one company, I would never order the delivery anymore. Because I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's BS. So that's why some say, you know what, we're going to take that in house. Like Panera. Panera delivers their own stuff. Why? Because if we're Panera, we're a higher price, higher quality level stuff. Then maybe we'd have our drivers. Panera is delivering it to you to keep that, higher level of service, higher level of quality goes all the way through. Not saying like Uber Eats isn't high quality delivery, but you can control it that way. Okay. Let's see. Michael, Taco Bell Chipotle sauce, awesome for taco night. A very good way to get good quesadillas without the price. Yeah. So there's a YouTube channel called It's a Southern Thing, and they did a rank, bless your rank of Taco Bell food, and the guy ate like 8 different things, and by the end he's like, I don't feel good. I'm like, that's how it is with me. You see Taco Bell, it looks so good, and you eat it, and then you don't feel so good later. And actually, my oldest son and I, whenever we drive by a Taco Bell, we just look at each other, the head nod, you want to go? Oh yeah, and we just drive by, because we both got ill too many times. Anyway, let's see. A lot of them are partnering up with Uber Eats and Just Eat. Yeah, so Sam, you'll see, that's why, look, sometimes you'll partner up, so there's the de facto one. So you're not dealing with 3 or 4 different suppliers of delivery services. There's just one, so it can kind of be dedicated. Because think about it, if you know that, hey, I'm going to be delivering from McDonald's, you're probably going to stay near that McDonald's. So when they call you up, you can just go pick it up and go. Let's see. So Ariel says that's sort of an uncontrollable factor because it comes down to a decision of the individual delivery driver. A McDonald's delivery driver could take some food as much as an Uber delivery driver. This is true. And this is one of those things you have to judge. That's why sometimes I look, the same thing will happen if our people do it, then maybe just do it that way. And sometimes you'll see, there's McDonald's delivery drivers in certain cities around the world, and you'll see them buzzing around on their little mopeds with their stuff. So you got to think about that. Yeah, Claire, you got to love the Panera delivery. I know. One of our friends' sons used to be a delivery driver for them. He was like this super nice kid, good kid, played in the school band and led all the stuff at school, and it was in the drama stuff and all these things. I'm like, yep, you fit perfectly. You are too good of a person. I won't even say where I would be delivering stuff from because it would be an insult to that food place. Oh, yeah. Michael Spillman. I agree there's a reason it's 85 cents for a taco. Yes, there could be something to that. I don't know. So the thing is, with the SWOT analysis, we start thinking, but how we're talking like this is the kind of discussions you need to have when you're doing SWOT analyses. Otherwise, you're just wasting people's time. Okay? Now, other thing I want to talk about today. And thank you for being here. I mean, these are things that they're in the videos, the SWOT video and the BCG matrix video, but I just want to, give us, some people like to have a little bit of, little QT, a little quality time with the professor, with my students. So it gives us something to do, and hold on. I need to get better pens, sorry. So we're going to do the BCG matrix. And so with this BCG matrix, if you can't read this, this says market growth. This says market share. So for market growth, you got high market growth, low market growth. For market share, you have high market share, low market share. Okay? And Sam, the thing is, what's crazy is you have regional regional fast food places too. You go kind of the Mid-South, you got Cookout. West Coast, you got In-N-Out Burger. Midwest, you got Culver's, my favorite. So there's a lot of different stuff you can find out there. Anyway, so if we look at this BCG, Bolton Consulting Group Matrix, what you're doing is you're looking at your portfolio of products and services that you sell, and you're trying to decide and say, what should we do with those? Which ones are making us money, which ones we need to look out for, which ones we kick to the curb, right? And so there's different ones out here. You have these question marks here. So a question mark is a product or service. It's a really fast-growing industry, but you're a small-time player. So you think about it, when tablets came out, it was growing super, super fast. But, Apple was dominating. Other people could come out, but we're such a small player. Will we survive? Will we not survive? I don't really know. It's kind of, if you look at it in terms of fast growing, the health food, fast casual places are still growing really fast. But if we open our own chain, we're a small player. Is it going to be a success? Is it going to go we're going to become a big time player? Or will eventually the market growth slow down and it'll be a dog because we never become anything special? So here, Wolf. Yeah, can you tell I'm not an artist? I'm sorry. You have what are called dogs. Okay, a dog is a product where it's a low market share. We're not a very big player, and the market we're in is not growing or might have negative growth, so it's a dog. And what happens with these products, these are ones eventually you kick to the curb. You know, it's like, hey, if we can't feed the family, I guess the dog doesn't. We got to do something with the dog, and that's what happens in businesses. If you're working in a company and you are working in the dog product, and the bad times come, those are the jobs that are going to get cut. Because look, we're not selling a PlayStation 2 anymore, so we get rid of that. And what's interesting is you'll see products actually cycle through these things. I'm going to use the PlayStation example in a sec, but let me talk about these last couple parts here. So up here we have what's called a star. This is you're in an industry that's growing really, really, really fast, right? And you're the biggest player in the market. So if you think about it, tablet with the iPad, right? Like the iPad with tablets with tablet industry with the iPad when it first came out, it was just that they were everywhere. It was grow, 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 grow. Now it's not so big, right? But back 5-10 years ago, it was huge, right? Everyone was like, we're never going to have laptops again. It's all going to be tablets. I remember when I came to U of I, they had a master's program. One of the big selling points was everybody gets an iPad. So now you're like, iPad, I got a phone. Why do I need that? So it is kind of interesting. But these stars, this thing is like, look, it's growing really, really fast, so I'm probably going to invest in this. Look, we're the biggest player, and it's still growing. Let's throw more money in there to help these things work. The thing is, where does that money come from? And that's where down here, okay, my cow. That's a cow. Okay, that's the cash cow. Again, do not show this video to anybody in the creative field because they'll just be horrified by my drawing. Yes, blackberries. That's a good example, Ariel. Blackberries was like the star. They were like whirling the market. Then the market changed and it crashed out. And now you don't even see them anymore, right? And so with these cash cows, this is when you have like red can Coca-Cola, right? It's like, look, it's not a huge growth industry right now, but it makes a lot of money for us. So we could invest in our stars, like our vitamin waters or something like that that's really growing. Or we could invest in these question marks we're not really sure about. Maybe we go into the energy drink market. Let's get some money there. But this cash cow is what helps you finance a lot of different things, right? And so if we look at something like the PlayStation, okay? When the PlayStation first came out, nobody knew it was going to be a success. I mean, it was a huge industry, fast-growing console, gaming industry, and the PlayStation came out and it was a question mark. The thing was, it was so popular, it shot to be a star and actually wiped out Sega and almost wiped out Nintendo. Funny thing is PlayStation 1 should have been a Nintendo. But that's a whole other story you'll learn about in your strategy class. PlayStation 1 started out at this question mark and then became a star. But after a while, everyone had it, so people weren't buying new PlayStations, they were just buying games. So it's a cash cow because we're going to kick back from the games that are on there and people buying new controllers and stuff like that. But eventually, the PlayStation 1 became a dog. Why? Well, we had a PlayStation 2 that came, the PlayStation 3 that came. And so you kind of see how products sometimes kind of circle through. I mean, they don't make PlayStation 1s anymore. I mean, well, they might come out with a vintage PlayStation. Like they came out with the vintage, it's plugged in, I'm trying not to have the TV fall. The vintage Nintendos, right? Don't mind me. I'm okay. So there. Yeah, and so sometimes things will come back, but that's the product life cycle thing we talk about. But you kind of see like where your products are. And so what you're going to do is you're going to look at your portfolio of products. Where do things fit? Like, where should I be doing? Like, for example, if I look at, videos I make for classes, okay, so the ones that are in the high growth industry that are out there, that's like people want to have YouTube, people want to work online. That's the fast growing kind of video market growth. Talking about basic stuff, not really a big growing industry, but there's enough people that need to know the basics. It doesn't grow, but it's consistent, so you might have a cash cow there. But I look at it, and I used to do some videos, like presentation stuff and things like that. Never really went anywhere, but also the videos weren't very good quality, so that could be it too. So it's kind of a dog, so I stopped making those, right? So sometimes you see, it's like, look, it's time to let go of some of them. Let's see. So my aunt used to be so proud of her cutting edge BlackBerry phone forever ago. Yeah, my wife was very impressed with her BlackBerry back in the day. Then it got stolen on Ryanair. So that you gotta do from her bags. Let's see. Is the cash cow right? This is the cash cow here. Yes, Claire, exactly. We had a moment of sun because I remember when the Wii came out. That's how old I am. I remember when the Wii came out and it was a total question mark. They're like, this is the end of Nintendo. The graphics are so crappy and it's nothing out there. Why would anybody buy a Wii when they could get this other stuff? And then they did a great thing. They put all those like demo ones at the door. Like, you come into a store, there's that Wii, and it doesn't matter if you're a dad, you're playing, little kids playing, grandpa's playing. I mean, how many of you did Wii bowling with your grandparents when you were a kid, right? Yeah. So you have that. Ariel, what's your personal cash cow right now? So with my travel videos, the cash cow, the ones that doesn't get a lot of growth, but it consistently watches again, are the don'ts of travel videos. Those are the ones that get, you know, if I put those out, they get a nice number of views. It's not like millions, but thousands of views, so it's okay. It makes me like $10, but you know, it's still, it's one of those things there. Sam, I actually did marketing in college, but I hated my lecture, so just replacing the SWOT class for me. Well, I'm glad I can help out a little bit. But the thing is, what you're going to use this BCG matrix for is really just to kind of understand, is like, wait, which products do we really need to focus on? Like, where's our hope line? Because if you look at it, like our cash cow is nice. We're not going to kill the cash cow. You don't want to mess with that. Look up new Coke and you'll see how bad it can go, right? So this is the thing, is we know that, hey, we got this money that's going to be coming in. It's fine. And what I have to figure out is, like, where do I want to invest? Do I invest? Is there something going really, really well we can invest? Or maybe we don't have a start. There's just a question, a new industry that maybe we want to get into here. Because sometimes these question marks can take over your business. Nokia, I know now they're gone, basically. But Nokia was basically wood products. And they started making mobile phones, which was a tiny part of the business. Then it became the whole business. So it is kind of interesting how things kind of go. And they changed their business, and their wood products became secondary stuff. Like dogs in comparison to the phone stuff. So it is kind of an interesting, I mean, it still did fine, but it still was nowhere near in comparison. So that's why it's important that you do analyze all the different products and the different services you do offer, so you know which ones you should put your energy into. Okay? There's a reason why, like on my travel channel, I don't do any language videos anymore, because I made all kinds of learning language videos and they never got watched versus the travel ones, so stop making them. So one of those things you got to think about. Anyway, Solar, my cash cow is the lowest effort content I put out. There's a reverse correlation between time invested and success for some reason. Yes, I agree. I have a video on what you should know before you go on a safari. I love that video. It's like 24 minutes long on our travel channel. And I'm like, this is everything I really wish I would have known before we did our safari in Tanzania. This is great. It's got like 14,000 views. It's like nothing. I'm like, this is the one you really need to watch. It's gorgeous. You have the animals everywhere. You got all this stuff. Nope. Then I have ones that was like a throwaway, like what not to wear, and it was like 4 million views. And I'm like, what? That's a crap video. Like the video, I'm like, I'll just make a quick little video and have some fun with it. 3.5 million views, I think, and you know, lots of hate, but whatever. It was worth it. So, yeah, meme trends are hard to predict. Amen to that. Amen to that. That is so true. Anyway, if there's any last minute questions you want to throw out, feel free to. Otherwise, it was nice to have some of you on here tonight. It's really nice to have some students and some of my students and other students pop on there so we can talk. Next week we'll be doing key success factors. So we're going to go through that, probably for like the mobile phone industry or something. So we're going to be working on that one. So it'll be the Q&A first, then we're going through key success factors, and we might do benchmarking. We might do another one too, but just to kind of give you something, because I don't know. I really want to do some of these live classes because I miss having you, my students in the classroom. So this is just kind of one way maybe I can have some kind of connection with you all. So it's really nice. All of you that are commenting over here, thank you so much. Let's see. Yeah, Sam says, I don't think anybody's thinking about it till they go on a safari. That's true. I know. But here you're still like, oh. Side question, how many languages do you know? So I would be okay, I think, teaching. I mean, I'd have to practice up a little bit, but I could teach in English, Spanish, Portuguese, and German. I could probably, I could be a nice tourist in like middle, like 10-year-old conversation. And Italian, I could be a nice tourist, and in French, and I know the Lithuanian because they still lived there for a long time. I used to actually have to teach in Lithuanian, but since I don't speak Lithuanian anymore, it's been 10 years. No, wait. God, I'm old. It's been like 15 years since I lived in Lithuania, so it's all gone bye-bye. Anyway, thanks, Ariel. I'm glad you were here. Thanks, Ruby. Oh, Solar, thanks. So Solar Flare, a lot of these are going to be like Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Chicago time. At least for a little bit, there'll be a few extra ones around there. So thanks for popping on. Yeah, Solar Flare. My top 2 videos are one with 1 million. They took me less than 20 minutes. Exactly. Like there's no rhyme or reason. You're like, I got a great thumbnail. I think it's a great title. Nobody watched it. Then you have one that's like file 712 in Yosemite, and then it gets a million views, and you're like, wait, it's like the thumb is like, because it was like, you know, like you're filming and it like cut the like picture thing, and you're like, no, you're like, yeah. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Oh, sorry. Fun question. Where is your first post-pandemic trip? I hope it's Ireland. We were supposed to go to Ireland the 4th of October. Obviously, that's not happening now. Right now, most of our stuff's probably just going to be in the U.S. because we've had like 8 trips canceled. So our pyramid of travel is collapsing on itself, and now it's like, well, whatever we can go do. So we will figure out. Cool, Solar. Glad you're there. Bye, Evelyn. Anyway, I will leave you all for the night. Thank you for joining up. And if you have any other questions, you know you can email me. And I'll see y'all later.